We saw you click very quickly with everybody coming into the system. You know, the way that you were able to produce offensively and defensively for us has been like a major step in the right direction. How do you think the locker room has been getting ready for the games like this?
I think it starts with our mentality. I mean, we've kind of really tried to hone in on that and, you know, taking everything a lot more seriously, trying to get into that playoff mentality, if you know what I mean, and, you know, bring it in practice, bring it in games.
It's not very easy to get a group of guys, you know, age 20 to 16 to kind of gel together, but the way that Troy Mann has really allowed you guys to mesh and bring your own skills to the table there, have you found that like it's been really easy with that to be able to kind of make plays out on the ice? Like, you know, sometimes you get caught up with, you know, line mates that you're not necessarily used to, but I've been seeing that you guys are able to adapt very quickly on the fly and very easily able to adjust to those kind of situations.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, our systems are pretty systematic, but, you know, they're also free in a way. Like, we're really allowed to use their skill and, you know, make the most of it in certain situations and be creative out there. So, yeah, and I mean, just every player on this team kind of has that same mentality, you know, within the systems, of course, and, you know, we make the most of it on the ice.
This team has had a bit of a struggle trying to get past that second round here in years past. So I'm just curious, you know, what's the energy in the locker room for the boys to try and get over that hurdle? Is there something in the back of the mind that goes, I'm just stoked to try and get past that hurdle?
Yeah, of course. I mean, everyone, you know, ends up thinking a little bit ahead throughout playoffs at some point or another, or even before. And I mean, it's exciting to see, you know, what we can do and, you know, what our goals are and having those goals in the back of our heads. But it's a good thing, you know, to have those thoughts and, you know, to have that, knowing that you have that potential in a group,
right.
You know, but not getting too distracted with that is super important, and, you know, bring it every game, no matter the outcome. Yeah.
I had the chance to talk with Cedric Gaydon earlier, and, you know, I was talking to him about how the difference between the East and the West really is. You know, like, you come from Saginaw, of course, and, you know, last season, you know, it would probably, the playoff picture probably was a little bit more solidified, you know, a week or two before you guys were getting ready to play. Mm-hmm. This season here in the Eastern Conference, you found like you didn't really know who you were playing until like the last game of the season. Could you talk to me a little bit about how that kind of change must really impact the team and everything else, and how that goes forward?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that's also why we took the last stretch of games so seriously, you know, mm-hmm. just because we were all jockeying for positioning and standings in our matchups. You know, but I think it worked out for us, and, you know, I like where we are, and, you know, I like our matchups and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was exciting times, but I feel like it helped us, you know, kind of get into that playoff mentality, you know, sooner, you know, going into playoffs, going into game one, than, you know, say us figuring that out in game three. So, yeah.
You know, fighting for that division title definitely does that for you, and you guys fought for that thing right to the very end, you know. Yeah. You know, Troy Mann's in his second year here, you know, as head coach and everything else, and I feel like he's really brought a sense of synergy between the guys that, you know, were brought in, like yourself, and the guys like, you know, Cal Ewens, who have been here for a couple of years, and it's really exciting to see you guys continue that forward. But with you, you know, having that experience, you know, having won the Memorial Cup with the Saginaw Spirit, could you talk to me a little bit about what kind of mentality the boys will, like, what kind of mentality you think the boys will need to have to continue to push forward throughout the rest of the playoffs here?
Yeah, of course. I think it starts with a lot of perseverance. Throughout playoffs, there's a lot of up and downs, you know, mm-hmm. Game to game, and you know, just sticking with it, and, you know, trusting your group and having faith, game in and game out, and you know, even if you're down by a goal in a game, the game's not over, the series isn't over, and say you're ahead, you know, you got to close it out. So there's a bunch of different scenarios within playoffs, you know, that kind of bring on different challenges, and you know, I think we've kind of thought about that and embraced it, and you know, taking that into account going into playoffs. So yeah, you know, this group's a pretty strong group, and you know, I think we're up for the challenge.